Right, you lot, and if you did not know, I am releasing an album this summer, and I mean, I'd be very shocked if you didn't know, considering how much I've bloody gone about it. One of my favourite things about music artists is actually going and reading interviews or watching videos of them kind of explaining the meaning behind the album, because I get very lost a lot of the time. And you think a song is about summer, and then in actuality, it's about something completely different. So, what I thought I'd do today was break down my upcoming album Progress for the sake of progress. Now, this is my first full length album. Of course, I did the Made It Out Alive EP last year, which was a bit of an experiment for me, but I really wanted to do something very different with this album compared to the last one. Made It Out Alive at face value, it was like a diary entry. It was solely anecdotal. It was a story of the previous year, where I would take snippets of events that would happen in that year and then write a song about it. It was a good formula, but I did find that kind of whole idea getting very repetitive, and that kind of, I was limited to what could write about. So when I came into this album, I knew there were three fundamental things I wanted to change. Firstly, I wanted to do more genres, because when I looked at the songs that stood out and Made It Out at Live EP, it was Change the Tide and Bandage, and they were two songs that completely were different to everything else. So I wanted to do as much genres as possible. Two, I wanted to have a wider range of the topics that I would talk about. Of course, there's the fair share of love songs on this, obviously. There's the fair share of songs about friends or songs about people I don't like, but there is a kind of unique interest in ideas as well, and I wanted to do that. I wanted to not limit myself as to what I could talk about, which is why I kind of didn't want a theme for this album so much. I wanted to make it more open-ended. And three, I wanted to kind of tell some different perspectives. When I listened to Made It Out Alive, a lot of the time I felt that I was painting myself as the bad guy in a lot of the songs, where I was taking accountability for others' actions, and that was just a fundamental flaw in myself, but also when listening back to those songs, that was something I kind of did a lot. So what I wanted to do on this one was to actually do some more self-empowering anthems as well, and actually some song celebrating myself, They say I've got the ego, so I've got to actually fulfill that, right? So I don't want to make this too long, because I want to get to the point, so I'm going to go through all 18 songs. It's an 18-song album, mainly because I actually think albums should be that length. I'm always annoyed when like albums are like 12 songs and then they have to do the bonus edition and the bonus of the bonus edition. But no, there's no extra editions, there's no vinyl editions, there's no bloody deluxes or any of that. It's just the album is 18 songs, and that's mainly because I just kept coming up with new ideas, and I wanted it to be a rounded number, so I had to come up with 18, and I had 16 in my head for a while, but then I came up with a 17th idea and I couldn't make it 17. That's just. Oh. So, let's break down each song. So, the opening track, with the first song, I really wanted to make it something that demonstrates from the first opening chords that this is a different artist. This is a changed person from the guy who Made It Out Alive. And I thought, wait, what better way to do that was to do a rock song? Now, for me, I really am inspired by a lot of kind of rock artists who have kind of achieved lyrics. You look at Prime Bon Jovi, his lyrics were never exactly the best, but they were timeless in a way. They were relatable, and I wanted to kind of do that. And I kind of wanted to take a topic that is universal and could appeal to a lot of people. And I took the idea of homophobia and that whole thing, and I kind of tackle it from two angles. One, it's like, oh my god, how are people homophobic in 2023? But also the kind of idea of like, it's kind of pathetic that people get so worked up about something that actually doesn't matter in your life. Like, unless it's on your front doorstep, but even then, it's such a minute thing that people feel the need to discuss. I think it's quite pathetic on those kind of ideas. So I'm kind of taking that, say, sarcastic approach as well, kind of mocking the people. It's very different from everything I've done. The vocal is very rock, it's very raw, and I kind of go all out near the end. It's one of two rock songs actually on this album, and it's not going to be everyone's cup of tea, Undecided. And Undecided, a little fact, probably the most irrelevant fact you'll know, but it's the only song on the album where the title is not said in the song, which is such a useless stat, isn't it? Right, now, song 2 to song 6, I believe it is the first kind of arc of it, and it is the love arc. Strap in, everyone. So yeah, I knew I wanted to do a couple of songs about love and the love I've experienced in kind of the past years, because I did a bit of that with Change the Tide. That was a kind of different relationship. And this kind of arc is based off a love story that kind of went all over the place in a sense. It was very much like things were going up and then going down. It was like this massive roller coaster, and this all kind of took place during the time Made It Out Alive, but I didn't feel the need to talk about Made It Out Alive. I took upon bits of it, but I kind of wanted to write in retrospect here. And the first song I've done here is Bandage. Now, this is a very unique song, and you may recognise Bandage as a song that's on my YouTube channel currently, and when I made Bandage, it's the most complex song I've ever written. It's a song about toxic love. It's about a song about how kind of, at first, things that people are doing is kind of shadowed by the love you have for them. You're in love with someone so much that you're kind of not seeing what they're doing to you and how they're using you and how they're playing you. And I think Bandage is a great expression of that. And the instrumental I used for the OG Bandage wasn't by Lakili and wasn't kind of, due to copyright, I couldn't actually get the OG Bandage onto this. So I thought I want to do a remake, an official one under Broadburn with Lakili involved. And I was so happy with how it turned out. And, you know, it may feel a bit boring because it's like, oh, we've already heard this, but I have added new lyrics. I've changed a few things. I've shortened some verses because Bandage, in a way, the original felt very more like a poem, where this one felt a bit more like an actual song. Right, track 3 is called Reverse. This is another love-related song, and it's kind of a pop ballad in the sense, but I think out of the love, I'm not a big fan of Reverse. This was the second song I wrote on the album. I'm going to be honest, it's probably my least favourite on the whole album, which really selling the song there. Kind of like a song about, in retrospect, you're kind of, so this is after Bandage, you kind of realise near the end of it, okay, they're actually using you, they're destroying you, and then you kind of cut off from them, you isolate yourself, and then you actually start to wish you could reverse time and actually just go back, because although it was bad, it's nowhere near where you are now, and it's kind of a plead of better things. It's very emotional, Reverse. It's not exactly the most technically great song, but I do like kind of the hook I've got in there. I've got a rap verse at the end. It's very interesting. Fourth now, another song that might sound interesting is Waves Rewritten, which somehow is now a love song. How have I done that? So, on the first Made It Out Alive EP, I did Be Stronger Rewritten, which was one of the better songs from that, because I kind of took the theme to Be Stronger and changed it. And this is Waves Rewritten, but it really is Waves in name only. I mean, the only thing that's similar is that the chorus hasn't really changed, and that's about it, because now it's kind of a novel, and it's kind of me retelling the whole love story in kind of the ups and downs of it, and me really emphasising, and then at the end I kind of flash forward to where I was when I wrote it 5 months later, and kind of say where I am at that point. And it's a very simple song, it's kind of album filler, I'm going to be totally honest with you, but I wanted to do another Waves, and I felt, why not just completely change the idea, and make the metaphor for waves like letting a person leave you, instead of making it like an opportunity or something to seek. So yeah. Is it better than the OG Waves? You'll have to be the judge of that, but I've got a feeling it is. The fifth song is one you will know already because it is one of the single, and it is Not Enough. Not Enough is kind of that phase of getting to acceptance. It's a very straight ballad. It's very much a piano ballad, very Capaldi-like, Adele-like. It's one of those songs. It's not going to be everyone's cup of tea. It's the contrast with some of the songs I've got coming up on it, but yeah, it's very raw, and I performed this one live already. It's one of my very well received it was when I did it, and yeah, it's kind of that thing of like, you know what, you come to success and that nothing you could have done would have been enough, and it is what it is, and it's kind of that acceptance phase. After, you know, you've been mourning, you've been missing, you've been reminiscing, but then you actually come to that place of acceptance. I think it closes off that kind of story perfectly. But then song 6 I did as well is called Scared to Love Again. And I know I said Not Enough would be the last love song, but I kind of cheated there. And Scared to Love Again is a pop song. It's one of my more favourite hooks that I've done. I'm a big fan of Scared to Love Again. It's going to be a music video, and it's a pop song about kind of like, you know what? Love takes so much time. Is it really worth it? And it's kind of the headspace that I was in post it, because like, oh, this was such an ordeal. This was so a nightmare. Both this and the Change the Tide relationship were like, oh my god. So what I wanted to do with Scared to Love Again would kind of be like, what's even the point of this? And giving up on love. But it's like an uplifting song, and it is the last love related song, or at least my romantic lovers. other family love and stuff coming up. But right, song number 7 is a complete different. It's a dance track called "Wasted Potential." Now this is one of those kind of black sheeps in this album. The way I describe this album, you've got it's like a series of a TV show. You've got 3 major story arcs, and then you've got a few kind of black sheep, kind of standalone, almost like side quests in the middle, right? And Wasted Potential is one of them. So Wasted Potential is a song about fulfilling what is expected of me. I was given an opportunity, sort of, to kind of get the career that I wanted to. Something I didn't believe was possible. People around me had to work really hard to get that opportunity, but now I can do it. So it's kind of that idea of you've got that opportunity right in front of you. People have worked hard to get you into this position. You can't let them down. Now you've got to go from seed to kind of the idea of pressure. And yeah, it's a very catchy one. It's very radio. It's a dance track. It's very much a summer kind of vibe. This one will also be a music video. I've got 4 music videos I'm going to do, and this will be one of them. So yeah. Song number 8 now is the second rock song called Slow Motion. This one is very classic, kind of early 2000s rock, and I'm really excited about Slow Motion. This song is kind of the song 8 to 13 now are all kind of standalones, but they're kind of the second arc. So 8 to 13, I wanted to do songs dedicated to specific people, and this is dedicated to a person that I know who's kind of faced a lot of challenges. He's faced a lot of things that were out of their control, and people have kind of given up on them, written them off, and it's kind of me going, I don't care what it has to take. I don't care if we have to do this in slow motion. We are going to get from point A to point B. We are going to fulfill this no matter how hard. And it is kind of 3 steps forward, 2 steps forward, 3 steps back. That kind of idea. I'm a big fan of it. It's probably some of the furthest I've gone vocally as well. I really like. It's a nightmare to sing this one, especially the final bit. But yeah, I absolutely love it. I love slow motion, and I didn't expect it to turn out as good as it was. But Akiva did a great job instrumentally with this. So, song number 9 now is called "Always Been You." "Always Been You" is one of the first earlier songs I wrote as well for this one, and it's an interesting one. "Always Been You." It's very similar to kind of the "Made It Out Alive." It's got kind of the rap verses and the singing chorus, which I kind of bring back from that song. And this is a song about family. I really wanted to do a song about the importance of family and my own family, and also comparing that to other families and how families really shape a person, and kind of giving that idea that in the time where I was getting played and used by people and had these bad love relationships, my parents were always the constant, one consistent in all of this. And and I wanted to do a song dedicated to that kind of idea, and also go kind of how backgrounds do shape a person. And it's not my most flashy song, it's not going to be one, but it means a lot to me, and this is also going to be a music video at some point, so yeah. Song 10 now is going to be one that you'll know, because it's the second single, but the first proper single I released for it, called "Go Away." "Go Away" is a pop dance track about life. I kind of wanted to do an oxymoron with this song, where I'm kind of talking about life and death, but also having a more uplifting thing. I think that makes it more powerful and more bold, so that was kind of the idea. So I didn't want to do another ballad, and I thought it'd just be too big, too teary to do just a ballad like that. When I started writing this album, a lot of big deaths happened, not just in personal life, but celebrities. Of course, the major one being the Queen, which, of course, was a major death globally, but there was a lot of deaths. I felt like every couple of days a new person, even in my personal life, or a celebrity was dying, and people die every day, obviously, but like the people that were dying were people who were actually part of my life. So I kind of wanted to do a song about the idea of life, and about the idea of the privilege it could be, and how you got to live it to the fullest. I know it's an idea that a lot of people talk about, but I wanted to do a song about that. Now, song number 11 is my first kind of rap track. The ratio from singing to rapping on this is very much in favour of singing, mainly because I just think I sing better than rap at this point, and it just worked a lot more for the song. But U-Turn is a full rap track. It's drill, it's trap, it's grime almost, and it's a song about dedicated to kind of a group of people who are kind of antagonists in my life, who are problems, who are barriers, and I found these people were very not consistent with what they believed. They very much change with the wind, you know what I mean, and they would do U-turns, and I found the title quite ironic because they were also Tories, and Liz Truss famous for doing U-turns, so I found it quite an amusing title, and I'm a big fan of U-turn. I think it's already out and I'm gonna have a music video for it in a couple of weeks, but it's already a single as well. So U-Turn, Warn You, Not Enough and Go Away, and Wait for Mistletoe, all available on streaming currently. So yeah, get them in your playlist. Song number 12 is Warn You. Warn You might be in my top 3 favourites, if not favourite, the whole album. I think it just is one of my best hooks. It's one of the best instrumentals. This was one of those Eureka moments where I was just writing it and it just kind of worked. This song is kind of about the idea of having a friend who has a partner you disapprove of, where you can see from afar exactly what this person is doing, but they're kind of blinded, they're in denial. It's kind of that kind of bandage idea that I've said earlier, but then you don't really want to kind of get involved. You want to kind of stay by the side and not risk kind of losing what you have with that friend. So it's kind of like you just let it play out, and then lo and behold, they come back and they do what you knew they were gonna do. So it's like So yeah, but Warn You is a really catchy song, and it means a lot to me as well. So I'm really happy with it. 13th is Persona. This was the final song that I wrote on the album, and I found that a lot of people around me were characters. I felt that I didn't really know the truth about a lot of people. A lot of people were fake, and I wanted to do a pop rock kind of big song about how like nowadays everyone's trying to copy someone else. Everyone's trying to be someone they're not, and all these snakes and two-faced people, and it's like I wanted to do that kind of idea. So yeah, it's not the most memorable, but I really enjoyed Persona. Now 14th, 15th and 16th are kind of the final arc, and I wanted to do kind of 3 or 4 songs kind of uplifting myself. 14th is called Go On, and it's kind of a sequel to Wasted Potential. It's a pop song about kind of looking back at the state I was in and made it out alive, and saying, kind of almost laughing at myself with like, what was I doing? And now looking, everything's on track for me. Look how things have changed, and it's kind of demonstrating the progression that I've had since made it out alive to now, and it's an important song in a lot of senses, I think. 15th is a song called Cardboard Box. This is the second all rap track, and it takes the famous line Big Fish Little Fish Cardboard Box. I made a whole song about it. It's kind of dubstep. It's very bizarre. This was a very kind of experimental. I kind of did some experiments in the back half of this album. I think most people do. Like the first half, you've got kind of the guaranteed hits, but then from 13 onwards, I kind of took some risks, and this is definitely one of the risks, and I really enjoy it. I did a bit of a freestyle at the end as well. It was a very interesting song on many levels, so yeah. Song number 16 is called 2 Feet. I'm a big fan of 2 Feet. This was the second song that I wrote for the album. It's the 16th song on here, and it's very 70s. It's got kind of real instrumentation. It's got that kind of jive, kind of swing feel to it, and I wanted to do a song that kind of closes it off in a sense, where it was like the whole tagline of 2 Feet is, after all the pain I had to meet, I still stand on my own 2 feet. And it's kind of looking, you know what? I've wrote so many negative songs about all these terrible things I've done and all these terrible things happening, but you know what? I'm still here. I've still got a few future ahead, and it's kind of an uplifting song going, you know what? No, stop blaming other people. Like, stop blaming yourself for other people's actions. Get behind yourself, and it's a great kind of power anthem. I think a lot of people can kind of make it their own kind of thing, so yeah. Then the last 2 songs. Number 17, I decided to put Wait for Mistletoe, the Christmas song, in here. This was not originally meant to be on the album, but I wanted to do a Christmas song for a long time, because I think every artist has a Christmas song, and I kind of wanted to take... This is technically a love song, but I wanted to take that kind of unrealistic kind of magic of Christmas and then mix it with kind of my struggles with love. And it's like, you know, just give me some unrealistic, just give me make-believe, like, just give me love in the click of my fingers. Like, it's kind of that Christmas naivety, that kind of magic, and yeah, it's a really good song. I really enjoy it. And then the final closing song is called Finally Thriving. This was another I like to reuse instrumentals that I previously done and then change it up. And here I take my opening track from Made It Out Alive, Almost Fallen, and twist it to Finally Thriving, in a way to kind of show the progression, firstly, that I've gone on, but also it's a really clever idea, so yeah. So that is Progress for the Sake of Progress, my album, and that is kind of the breakdown of all of the songs. If you have any more questions, and yeah, the full album should be released middle to late July. It will be out in July. I don't know the exact date because I'm still kind of finalising some of the tracks and I'm still not 100 ready to go. But yeah, I hope you really enjoyed this breakdown. And any questions, please, I'm prepared to talk about this. And yeah, if you like this, I will. So yeah, goodbye, lot.